All right, everybody, you know what time it is. The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. Bam! Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons. We're thankful for those of you who decide to pop in here and join us here on another broadcast as we do on multiple platforms on social media. We thank you so much for tuning in and checking us out here. Remember, you can follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. So check us out there. You can follow me personally at Minister J Sim. Also, please, if you're already watching on YouTube, you know what to do. Bing! Follow us and hit that little bell and bing, 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 bing. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe to our channel. Please do that if you could. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and we can't do it without you. So appreciate you again so much for tuning in and checking us out on the broadcast. Well, it's been buzzing. It is free agency. Um, it's opened up, it's real, it's live, it's on and popping. So we are excited to see that there's a lot going on in the world of sports today. And hopefully and prayerfully, we can get your opinions and your comments about what is happening in the NFL. Free agency is in full throttle right now. And like I said, again, we would love to have your comment. Remember, if you are watching the broadcast on one of the pages on Facebook, which we're very appreciative, all the Falcons pages and so forth that let us broadcast our show there, please go to the Real Talk Sports Show page because that's the only way I can really see your comments. If you make the comment there, I won't see it until the next day when we get off the air. So again, if you want to make a comment, get your opinions in. We'd love to have you. Go ahead and put your comments in on the social media platform, whichever one you are watching, but make sure it's on the main Real Talk Sports page so we can, kind of get your comments and see what's going on with you. Love to have you again, like I said, be a part of the broadcast. Well, look, guys, it's been an interesting weekend. First of all, I don't know if you guys watch, but women's basketball is really beginning to be must-see TV. And we had a little situation yesterday where in the LSU and South Carolina championship, SEC championship game, it got a little chippy. Now, for those of you who don't follow women's basketball, and we don't follow it a lot, but we are aware that South Carolina, under head coach Dawn Staley, who's a former All-American, a former Olympian, a former WNBA star, she likes her girls to play physical, physical. And so that they did. And so they have a reputation of doing that. People know what they're about. They get in there, they mix it up. They actually practice, interestingly enough, against the guys. Yeah, that's right. Dawn Staley makes sure that her girls practice against the guys. And they're not college players, but I think they're former high school players, and maybe some JUCO players. I'm not sure from men's basketball. But the bottom line, she has men come in there and mix it up with their girls. And what has happened is that they have, like I mentioned, gotten a reputation for being a bit physical. And so in the game against LSU, that was on full display. And late in the game, with about 2 minutes to go, with South Carolina basically having the game in hand, it got a little chippy, and the ladies got to scuffling. Now, I got to tell you something. I'm all for physical play. I'm all for you being intentional play, but it still feels kind of funny to see the women go at it. And fortunately, wasn't a lot of punches thrown per se, but there was some pushing and shoving. And actually, USC's Camila Cardoza actually shoved Flajay Johnson to the ground, just pushed it right down to the floor. And that's what started the melee. Both benches cleared, and it took about 25 minutes for it to all settle down. And when it did finally settle down, the referee said, "We've had about enough of you off the bench. Why don't you? Why don't you? Why don't you? Why don't you?" And by the time they finished, every single player on both teams on the benches were ejected. Now, fortunately, the game only had about maybe 2 minutes left to play, or so, about 2 or 3 minutes left to play. But the bizarre thing was to watch this game, a championship game, which had been well played. Like I said, again, a little chippy, but it was a great game between two of the best teams in the country, and to basically see everybody thrown out. LSU, I believe, had 6 players. No, excuse me, LSU only had 5 players. South Carolina had 5 players with one person on the bench. That was it. End of the ball game. So, what are your thoughts about that? Do you think that the women should be a little bit more demure, a little bit more subdued, or do you just think, hey man, it's about hardcore basketball and you're happy to see it? Let me know. Put your comments in social media. What do you think about the ladies and how they play? And that's what we're talking about today. Here's our topics for those of you who just tuned in. Number one, talking about the SEC championship, like I mentioned, women scuffling, getting kind of into it. USC versus LSU, and I'm talking about USC. I'm talking about University of South Carolina. They got into it last night, the other night, I should say. And then, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's a problem if the women get a little bit physical and chippy? And if so, please love to hear your comments. Or do you just think, hey man, this is tough, hard nosed basketball. This is how the game should be played, and that's it. Love to hear your comments. Love to get your feedback there. Hit us up. You put your comments on social media. We will see them, but please make sure you're doing it on the Real Talk Sports actual page, because if you're on, like, for example, a Facebook group or something like that, I will not be able to see the comment until the next day, because that will not pop up on the screen during the broadcast. So again, if you want to comment, we'd love to have you comment. Go ahead and put your comments now on social media, and we'll let you jump right in. Big shout out to those of you who are watching on X. I hate that name. I hate that name X. It really should be Twitter. The whole thing, Elon Musk, I don't get it. But anyway, big shout out for those of you who started watching us on X again. And for me, it's kind of deja vu all over again, because our show really kind of got most of its traction early on. We're going back a few years ago on 2 main platforms, which was Facebook and also on Periscope, which is now XTV, which is how many of you are now tuning into the broadcast. So we appreciate the fact that our numbers, thankfully, are starting to go up again on the X platform. And like I said, again, it really is like deja vu all over again, because that's kind of the show really kind of built and got its traction as we, like I said, we're on Periscope. And Periscope, man, was such a cold app. That app was cold because Periscope, first of all, the interaction was off the chain. You could see the comments very, very easily. They popped in. People could hit you up with the hearts. You could see all that stuff was displayed on the screen. I mean, I just really, really enjoyed the interaction that we got on Periscope. I was very saddened to see when Twitter, at that time, Twitter took it over, because once they took it over, the interaction, the feedback we got from people is never the same. And it's only recently, thankfully, guys, that you got to jump back in and join us here on X. So again, appreciate you, but you're making me feel a little nostalgia as I think back, like I said, of our days on Periscope. All right, the other thing we want to talk about is more basketball. The Hawks having all kinds of problems. Another player down. And the question is going to be now, can they hang on to that 10th and final playoff spot and get into a playing game? The latest injury for the Hawks, Sadiq Bey, a guy who has done extremely well for the Hawks up to this point. Guy, very energetic, outstanding young man. He actually got hurt last night. They thought it was not going to be too bad. He actually, got up off the floor. You could see it was a tough injury because he was in so much pain. But he got up and said, "Hey, no, I'm going to at least shoot my foul shots." And then they took him inside into the training room, and then they found out that he was, in fact, unfortunately, severely injured, and he will actually be out for the rest of the season. So Sadiq Bey is out. He joins Trae Young, who's going to be out for at least another couple more weeks. Also, Jalen Johnson, a guy who's a rising star in this team. Man, if you haven't seen Jalen Johnson for the Hawks, I'm going to tell you, please tune in to check this man out, because he's an over the rim player. He has outstanding ball handling skills, good rebounder. I think in another year or two, this guy could be an all-star for the Hawks. Yeah, Jalen Johnson is out. Like I said, Sadiq Bey, let me kind of get the update on him if I might be able to do so. Get some news here breaking on Sadiq Bey and tell you what happened to him last night. He has a torn left ACL. And again, he's out for the season. So my question to all of you guys, do you think the Hawks are going to be able to hold on to that 10th spot? Or do you think that that is going to go by the wayside because of his injury? Love to get your guys' feedback on that. Hit us up. Put your comments on social media. Like I said, again, if you're on Facebook and you're on one of our watch pages, please go to the Real Talk Sports page so I can see your comments and bring you on the air and let you be part of the show. So what do you think? Do you think the Hawks have the firepower to hang on? Like I said, again, you have no Trae Young. You have no Sadiq Bey. You have no Jalen Johnson right now. Of course, John Collins, you traded him away. And this Hawks team is very, very thin. They're bringing up guys from the G League like no tomorrow. But I will tell you, they have shown some flashes of brilliance even without their key players out. Bruno Fernando, a guy they drafted a few years ago as a project, he is now beginning to get some traction down in the paint. He's played very, very well in the men's leagues. He's come in to substitute for Clint Capella, and I think he's a guy that potentially should get more time because the Hawks, that's the one thing the Hawks lack is length. If you watch them against most teams in the NBA, especially teams that have a bigger front line, the Hawks look like high schoolers and college guys. They're giving up, 4, 5, 6 inches, and oftentimes anywhere between 10 to 40 pounds. So having Bruno in there, who's a fair-sized guy, I think is very critical for the Hawks going forward. And I think that Coach Snyder, as his conditioning comes up, because when you're like the 12th man, you really don't get too much time. But I think that he could be a key factor in the Hawks' ability to hang on to that 10th spot and be able to get into the playoffs. And hopefully by that time, Trey will be back, Jalen Johnson will be back, and his team can at least make a little bit of noise in postseason. Now, some people think, hey, we don't care about that. The Hawks are a team that clearly is some pieces away from getting to the next level. So this is a team really right now in flux. There's talk about trading DeJounte Murray, their outstanding guard. I guess he's a kind of quasi two guard and one. Trae Young, there's been talk about trading him because the Hawks seem to have about the same record, whether he plays or not. Maybe a few games more under 500 than when he plays. So the question is, why would you have a guy like this in here, a guy who's a star in the NBA, but he can't get you to that next level? And so this is a team that really got a lot of things swirling around it. I think the biggest problem has been, I don't know about you, has really been the poor decision made by the ownership. And I come on here all the time and tell you guys I've met, Tony Russell, I had a chance to talk to him. Seems like a great guy, but I think he really made a misstep removing Travis Schlenk from the everyday basketball operations lead. Because here's a guy that in Schlenk was underneath the executive team that built the Golden State Warriors into an absolute powerhouse, to allow them to win 4 championships in I think 7 or 8 years. He was part of that. And the original idea was to bring him over and maybe make us Golden State East. And for a wonderful, phenomenal, I guess, season and a half, really half a season, we saw a glimpse of what could be. That team had the right chemistry, right mix of veterans and young players. Trae Young was feeling himself, and this team really was must-see TV. I know I repeat this quite often, but they really were an exciting team to watch. It was great to go down and cover them, great to go down and watch them because the excitement and energy these guys played. They played with a chip on their shoulder, they played hard, and they played free. But it seems like ever since that year, whether they started smelling themselves, I'm not sure what happened, whether the coach Nate and having to kind of move some pieces around, especially some key veterans, didn't really have a team, as Trey say, that he was, well suited to coach. And then step by step, the whole thing went off the rails. So I don't know what to say about the Hawks. What do you think? Do they have a chance to hang on to that playoff spot, or should we just kiss this season goodbye? Well, speaking of goodbye, we want to say a quick little goodbye, but not forever. We're going to take a break, let you hear from our sponsors, and we'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Thank you.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net. The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice.
Coming up next, it's the Real Talk Sports Show, bringing you great sports talk with perspective. Now, here's our host, Jonathan Simmons.
We're back here. You are listening to or watching the Real Talk Sports Show. I am your host, the Minister, Jonathan Simmons.
Hi, guys, we're here. Celebration ball. Swag and
My producing fingers got a little excited. That was us. We do go out and about and cover all types of sporting events. That was a little clip of us covering the Celebration Bowl. We also do high school football each and every fall, sponsored by our title sponsor, Allen Vigil Ford in Lincoln. You just heard the commercial for Mr. Lincoln has sponsored us, I believe, for the last 4 years now, doing high school football. We've been out there at the Hines Ward Field, the historic Terrace Stadium in Clayton County. We've had a chance to see some of the great high school players down in Clayton County and some other counties. And we also got a chance to see something you guys saw, the commercial for the Super Bowl. We got a chance to check out the Jonesboro Mighty Marching Cardinals. That's their band. And these guys they're just phenomenal to watch them. So if you don't get a chance to go on there and check them out on YouTube, that's the Jonesboro Mighty Marching Cardinals, Jonesboro MMC. Those guys are off the chain. And that's why they were with Usher filming the commercial for the Super Bowl and the Atlanta presence at the last Super Bowl, Super Bowl 58. So, go check those guys out. Well, look, we're going to take a little transitionary shift here and get into football, talking about the NFL. The NFL is prime time, it's free agency, and it's on and popping. And really, like every single team basically is getting ready for the NFL free agency and, of course, the draft. But right now, we're right in the middle of free agency, just coming off the combine. And like I said, there's so many teams that are active right now. It actually the actual official signing is on tomorrow, but already teams are making moves. And there's been some shockers. There's been some absolute shockers. For example, in the NFC East, how about the Eagles and the Giants? Now, who would have thought? Now, normally, guys don't like to do this too much. They don't like to go over and switch over to their rivals in the division. But Saquon Barkley said, "Show me the money." And Saquon Barkley has now left the New York Giants and gone over to the Eagles, and it's created a little bit of a controversy with a former Giant, Tiki Barber. He basically kind of called Saquon a sellout, and the guy, should stay with the Giants. He made the comment like the mafia movies, "You're dead to me." Something I think to myself, it might be a situation where I don't know. I hate to put it this way, guys, but I'm beginning to get to the point now where when I'm watching the things that are going on in the NFL, the NFL to me is becoming more and more like WWE every day. Seriously. I mean, all these plot twists and these dramas, and I think a lot of this stuff is all made up, all these beefs that go back and forth between some of these teams and players. I think all this stuff is just to generate activity, to generate eyeballs, to generate ears, and to generate people talking about the NFL, because some of this stuff doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. Why would you, Tiki Barber, a guy that had, some difficult negotiations with the Giants while you were playing. Why would you get on Saquon Barkley for getting his money, man? Getting that bag. I mean, at the end of the day, the teams are not loyal to the players. I mean, and the NFL players should know that. The NFL, jokingly referred to as it's standing for not for long. The average NFL life expectancy is about 4 years. So at the end of the day, most of the time, the players, they get cut at random. You only recently, in the last few years, have gotten more and more guaranteed years on people's contracts. Usually, what happens is you get cut, you don't make the team, you're out, you don't get anything. So I don't understand why Tiki Barber, a veteran of the NFL, knowing it from the inside, would have some beef with Saquon Barkley about getting his money. And I thought, I never played it down in the league, but I thought that was a no-no anyway in any professional sport, that you never critique a teammate or another player while they're trying to do what? Get their money. Because the NFL, I will tell you right now, guys, I'm serious. I've had the opportunity to cover the NFL through the Falcons. I've had the opportunity to cover from the sidelines. And I'm going to tell you right now, when you are down in that field and you get a sensibility of the sound that it makes when these players make these extremely hard tackles, and you can actually hear these guys groaning and and just the sound, the impact. As a matter of fact, they say when two NFL players collide, it's the equivalent of an impact of you being in a 30-mile-an-hour car crash. And we know that players have had a lot of trouble post their NFL career around CTE and other issues. So, I mean, why begrudge any player their money? Now, don't get me wrong. I like to see guys do some of the things that great players like Tom Brady and Drew Brees have taken adjustments to their contracts and things like that, to help their team get better, maybe help their team get to the next level in postseason. So at the end of the day, I'm thinking, hey, I get it, but bottom line, man, it's it's it is the way it is. So, all right, let's take a look around the NFL. Like I mentioned, the Eagles, they got coming and goings like no tomorrow. They lost several of their key players from off of the team that went to the Super Bowl just 2 years ago. Like I said, added Saquon Barkley to the mix. Hassan Reddick looked like he's going to be going, another key player on the Eagles to free agency. What do you guys think about the Eagles? Do you think that the Saquon Barkley move is giving them an edge? How would you grade them? CBS Sports gives them an A for landing Saquon Barkley because that guy is certainly the premier running back in all the NFL right now as far as availability. Now, a lot of people might say it still would be Derrick Henry, but certainly Saquon is a lot younger. So what do you think about that? Saquon Barkley now moving from the Giants to the Eagles. Let's take a look at some of the other signings. Speaking of the Giants have signed Devin Singletary. Okay, they picked him up to replace Saquon Barkley. Barkley's missed, like I mentioned, he's missed some games. But Devin Singletary now coming on from the Bills to see if he can kind of show up what's going on here. Another running back on the move. The Commanders signed Austin Eckler. Now, Eckler kind of reminds me of what happened about, 15 years ago with the same thing, the Chargers. The Chargers had LT, LaDainian Tomlinson, one of the greatest running backs of all time, but lurking in the shadows without getting a whole lot of time was the burner, Michael Turner. And once Turner was let loose on the scene, he came to Atlanta and he became an all-pro. Austin Eckler, we saw flashes of him being a pro, an all-pro type guy for the Chargers, averaging 4.6 yards a carry for most of his career. At 29, if he's healthy, could be a big boost to the Commanders, especially since they're going to be looking to bring in one of the top 3 quarterbacks from college this year in the draft. So look for the Commanders to be on point. Let's get some other guys here that are making some moves. Staying over in the NFC. Let's take a peek here. Giants signed John Runyon. Runyon, one of the best offensive tackles in the league over the last decade. He's certainly going to do a lot to shore up the Giants and their offensive line. The Eagles signed Bryce Huff, 3-year, $51 million, because, like I mentioned, they have a situation where they've had some retiring with key defensive line players, and also they're in a situation where they're going to be losing guys to free agency. So Bryce Huff going to try to keep them on point, second only to Micah Parsons in terms of his pressure rate. So the Eagles making some news. The Bears signed DeAndre Swift. Yeah, I'm going to tell you something about the Bears. I'm going to stop here just for a second. The Bears are a team that a lot of people are thinking, oh, they got to get rid of they're going to get rid of Justin Fields. I'm going to tell you something. I think Justin Fields is going nowhere. And one of the reasons why I believe that Justin Fields is not here in Atlanta is because when I watched him on some of the interviews, he didn't necessarily seem to be that excited about coming here. Not anymore. I'm sure 4 years ago when the Falcons had a chance to draft him, maybe so, but he seems like he really enjoys being in Chicago because when they asked him about coming to Atlanta, he said, well, Atlanta would be cool, but he said, I'm going to have to deal with a lot more issues. People asking for a bunch of tickets and things like that. And his body language did not seem to be about a guy who was excited about coming here. And I think that's one of the reasons why Atlanta said, hey, man, thanks but no thanks. We need somebody that's going to be all in. We need somebody that's going to be wanting to be here. We need somebody that is got some energy and excitement about wanting to come here and be a part of a team that with the right quarterback play, I think becomes an immediate threat to not only win the NFC South, but to basically win a game or possibly two in the NFC playoffs. Now you say, well, hold on, brother. That would mean if they did that, they would get to the NFC Championship game. I'm just saying. Because here's the thing. The Falcons have one of the best running attacks in the NFL. Definitely in the NFC for sure. This is a team that has, for the last 3 years, averaged somewhere between 120 and 150 yards a game on the ground. And this is with horrendous, let me put the brakes, certainly below average quarterback play from first Marcus Mariota and then from Desmond Ridder and even to some degree from Taylor Heineke. These three guys just were not much CTV. They had flashes of brilliance from time to time, especially Desmond Ridder and even Heineke before the pressure of being a starter was completely on him, showed some great flashes in some mop-up duties. But basically, the Falcons' quarterback play has been terrible. So now it appears the Falcons have gotten what everybody's saying is the prize, the plum, the best quarterback free agent available, and that is Kirk Cousins coming in from the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Cousins has had a long time period of being an outstanding quarterback. His stats, his numbers are off the charts. The guy's been a four-time Pro Bowler. But a lot of people are questioning is, can he still get it done at age 35? Will be 36 by the time the season starts and coming off of an injury. Nobody's sure. As a matter of fact, we're going to do this. This is going to be the meat of the rest of our broadcast, talking what's going on with the Falcons, talking what's going on with free agency. So I'm going to take a little snippet break right now, and then we'll come back on more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go nowhere, because free agency talk is still going to be buzzing around. Stay tuned.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
You're back here. You're watching the Real Talk Sports Show. We talked a little bit about NFL free agency and a lot about our own hometown Atlanta Falcons. Again, if you'd like to join in on the situation, I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to let you get the opportunity to join us on the screen. That's right. I'm going to let you join in here. I'm going to put this link up on social media. If you copy and paste the link onto your phone, or you can put it onto your Lord have mercy. I'll get there eventually. Onto your laptop, you can actually join us here on the broadcast. So here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Here it is right here, guys. I'm going to put it right up here on the screen for you and on social media. If you want to join us, here's the link right here. Bam! You can actually join us on the program. There's the link. If you copy and paste that link into your phone, it works just like Zoom. You can come on in. Hopefully, you have some good lighting. And then you can be a part of the Real Talk Sports Show as we chop it up, talk about NFL free agency. And of course, we zero in on the Atlanta Falcons and how they did. How would you guys grade them? How would you guys grade them? Because here's the free agents that we know that the Falcons have up to this point. Of course, the biggest splash was Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has signed for a stunning 4-year, $180 million deal is what the estimated value is, and approximately $100 million most likely in this first year or two, the way it's set up. And they have a third year where he would, the Falcons be able to get out because the salary would only be about $10 million. So basically, Falcons have committed to pay Kirk Cousins heading into age 36, coming off an ACL, $180 million. They've also picked up some help for him at the wide receiver core. Daniel Mooney from the Chicago Bears will be joining the Falcons. Another guy getting a check, 3-year, $36 million deal for Daniel Mooney. And then they're bringing over Charlie Woerner, tight end, from the San Francisco 49ers, a team that has been playing very well, obviously, these last few years. He is known primarily as a blocking tight end because at the end of the day, as we knew, even when they got this guy, Kyle Pitts is not really a traditional tight end in the fact that he's going to be knocking guys on their keister and blocking like that. So they brought in a guy that can really block, allegedly. Charlie Woerner, tight end from the 49ers. So the question to you is, where do you grade the Falcons? How do you grade those signings so far? Do you think they've done a good job? Will you grade them an A, a B, B minus, C? What do you think the grade would be for the Falcons if you had to pick on this team and what they've done so far? And again, free agency is early. I'm not talking about, all the rumor mill. I'm talking about just specifically the guys they have signed so far. What you see on your screen, the big three: Kirk Cousins, Charlie Woerner, and Daniel Mooney. What do you think? What would you grade them? And not only that, what do you think about, to some degree, the money they spent? Because, like I said, I'm about to say Kirk Franklin. Kirk Cousins' deal is to the tune of $180 million for 4 years. Now, I know you can do some creative stuff with the cap, which they're going to do. They're going to do some monkeying around with the numbers. And like I said, after the third year, his third-year salary drops all the way down to $10 million. So that's kind of the out year for the Falcons where they can say, look, you know what? This ain't working, and we're out of here. Now, in the case of the wide receiver, Daniel Mooney, he's got a 3-year, $36 million deal. I believe $25 million of that is guaranteed. And Charlie Woerner, I believe his deal is 3 years, $15 million, then about 8 or 9 guaranteed. The first question I have is, well, who's Daniel Mooney? I'm not trying to be funny, but I never heard of this guy. I've never heard of this guy as being a player that is worth an almost $40 million investment over 3 years. I don't remember him going to any kind of Pro Bowls. I just don't know anything about this guy. And when I look at the numbers don't seem to be the type of numbers that you would put out there for a guy that really hasn't done a whole lot in his last couple of years. And I know he had a great start to his career. His first 2 years were great. I understand that. I see that. But I'm just wondering, that's a lot of money. I'm thinking that based on this draft, there's a deep quarterback draft. It's also a deep wide receiver draft. So I'm thinking, why would you not go and wait for wide receiver? I'll tell you why. The Falcons basically want to win right now. They believe their window is here. They believe they have the firepower offensively. They believe they have a good enough defense that this team could be a championship caliber team within the next 2 to 3 years. When I say championship caliber, a team that's willing to win it, well, able to go deep into the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl, and potentially win. That's why I know it sounds very bizarre, But that's what the intent of building this team. And really, if you look at the way this team is constructed or what they're doing, it's really like deja vu all over again. It very much mimics what they did with Matt Ryan about just over a decade ago, starting back in like 2011 when they brought in Julio Jones and they made moves, I would like to say with Michael Turner the year or two before that. Basically, what they're trying to set up is for a quarterback who is skilled at the play action fake, which Matt Ryan is. And from all the pundits, they say this is probably the strongest thing about Kirk Cousins is his ability to be a deft handling and accurate throwing play action quarterback. So the Falcons are making sure that a gentleman that is at age 36, like I said, by the time he plays, is coming from the ACL and not known to be the most nimble of guys, that he has all the targets available that will allow him to get the ball out of his hand quickly and matriculate the ball down the field. And potentially, this is a Falcons team with at least a 95% of what he has been over his career, Kirk Cousins, a team that should be able to score anywhere between 24 to 31 points a game on average. Now, I know you're saying, Minister, you got your mind, it's like 500 points for the season. I'm just telling you, if you look at a team that won 7 games, pretty much couldn't get out of its own way, have multiple turnovers in either their own red zone or the opponent's red zone, often causing 6 to 14-point swings on drives. I'm telling you, you put in a quarterback that now puts you in a position where he has a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and now is a legitimate threat that if, in fact, you bunch up your defense and pack it in, you now have a quarterback that can get the ball downfield to receivers that probably will be a lot more open even than before, showing some more separation, because you have a situation where you can't just gang up on the line. You have to play defense honestly. So this is a team that I think on paper, the opposite word is on paper, should be able to score a boatload full of points. And I think it's going to be critical that they do, because based on the schedule that we're seeing for next year, and again, you never know, how a team is going to play from year to year. But at the end of the day, the Falcons have some legitimate playoff contenders that they're going to have to face next year. Last year, they had a very weak schedule. They played a lot of teams that were at or under 500. And so I'm not trying to say the defense is not a good one. I'm just saying that the defense might be slightly overrated. And I think that we need to be honest and understand that just for them to kind of tread water, this Atlanta defense is going to have to be better. Hence, the fact that if you have an outstanding offense, a good offense can help your defense. Because let's face it, guys, there were times when I know the defense didn't play that well down the stretch, but there were times that the defense was, I think, to some degree, debilitated because they saw times where they literally caused turnovers, got the offense the ball, and the offense did nothing. So I'm just saying that this year coming up, I just want to read you the schedule that they have in front of them. Obviously, you already know about the NFC South. They should be able to go, I think, even with improvements on, even with Tampa Bay bringing back, Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans, and even though the fact that they have been the NFC South champions, I think, for the last 3 years running, I still think the Falcons should be able to go at least 4-2 in the division, because the Panthers are still, I think, a ways away from being competitive, and I think the Saints still have too many question marks. So the Falcons should be 4-2, and I think they should win the division. However, if you look at the rest of the schedule, they got trouble, boys and girls. The rest of the schedule stacks up like this. Now, I'm going to do the home schedule first. They have the Giants, a team that's clearly remaking their team. They have the Dallas Cowboys. They have the Kansas City Chiefs. They have the Los Angeles Chargers. They played them before, and Justin Herbert got them late. The Seattle Seahawks, Geno Smith, been playing very well the last couple of years. And last but not least, the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. And interestingly enough, you better believe the Pittsburgh going to be charged up, led by Russell Wilson, a guy that many people felt should have been the quarterback of choice in Atlanta. His wife, Sarah, is from Atlanta, and I'm sure that he's going to want to get some get back. Plus, when he was with the Seattle Seahawks, he had trouble beating the Falcons, losing to them twice in the postseason. Now, let's see where they go on the road. They put AFC at West. As I just mentioned, you heard about the Chargers and the Chiefs will have to go on the road, go to Las Vegas, play the Raiders. Antonio Pierce has got the Raiders playing a very tough, hard-nosed style of ball. That's going to be a challenge there. They have to go on the road to Austin, play the Broncos. For the Broncos, that should be a potential win, but you got to go to Mile High. Air's thin up there. The Philadelphia Eagles on the road. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, of course, right here in our backyard. Commanders and Vikings. Now, the thing about this is that we don't know what these teams are going to be. Like I said, the Vikings, we now have their quarterbacks. So they're going to have to be searching for somebody new. But they still have a good foundation there in that team, good coaching. The Commanders, same thing. We don't know if they're going to have one of the dazzling new quarterbacks coming out of college and what they're going to be about. But the bottom line is the Falcons have not played very well on the road the last couple of years anyway. So the Falcons got the work cut out for them. Not just again, I think they should be a team that should score between 24 and 30 points a game. If, in fact, here's the operative thing, if we get the same production that we've seen from the running attack over the last 2 or 3 years, if, in fact, Kirk Cousins is at least 95% of what he is, because that means that Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, all those numbers are going to go up in the passing game. I think the numbers are going to go up even in the running game as well. All right, let's go to social media here and take a look and see what y'all are saying in social media. My man Sullivan is back in the building. He says, oh, shucky ducky. And he's got a new name for me, guys, Pastor J Slice. And that's only when I'm not on the golf course. On the golf course, I'm going to have to be, Mr. J in the fairway. Pastor J in the fairway. That's going to be my name in golf. It's not been that way yet, but we're getting there. Yeah, I'd love to hear you guys' opinion. Like I said, again, you can hit us up on social media. If you want to actually join into the broadcast, there's the link. It's like Zoom, jump them in. We'd love to have you be a part of the broadcast. We talking here social media, should be talking here free agency, and really zooming in on our Falcons and what to expect from them next year. Like I said, again, what you're going to see is, I believe, is a team that's going to be able to score a lot. I think it's going to be critical they score a lot because based on that schedule that I just read for you guys, they got some tough outs. Like I said, they got to play the AFC West. They have to play the NFC East. And you have, in the NFC East, you got 2 teams that just came off playoff runs. You have the Cowboys, the Eagles, and you have to play the defending 2-time Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs. Now, these are going to be home games, so that'll help. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to put some points up on the board because those teams I mentioned are going to score points, especially the Chiefs. And barring, again, free agency is early. The draft is early. And certainly you would hope the defense will get a little better than from last year. But right now, as it stands, the Falcons got some more work to do. I'm excited about, let me not lie, I'm partially excited about Kirk Cousins coming here because I just don't know what we're going to get with a guy, like, say, again, age 36, coming off an ACL. Now they're saying that he'll be, quote unquote, ready for the start of the season. So what does that mean? That means he's not going to play any preseason games, that he's not going to be in the camp working with these players, because this is how this works, guys. I mean, when you're coming as a new player, you have to get some synergy with your teammates, and especially as a quarterback, you have to get some rhythm. You have to get timing because the offense is going to be geared that way. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, get the ball out of your hands. So timing is critical. So now when they're saying he's going to be, quote unquote, ready for the season, does that mean that he's going to be able to at least get a full training camp in? Because if not, all bets are off. I know he's a veteran. I know he's a very accurate thrower. But if you're telling me you're running a timing-based offense, kind of a modern-day version of the West Coast, kind of this Sean McVay / Kyle Shanahan, move and groove offense, that's a timing. If I go back and look at the Super Bowl run the Falcons made, there were 2 things that stuck out to me about that run, actually 3 things. And it was all done. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, Pastor, you're two-faced. Now you're a Matt Ryan fan. I never was necessarily a Matt Ryan hater. I always just felt that there were times where Matt did not use his athleticism to keep drives alive, to avoid sacks, to get first down. And plus, I still believe that the game, although the NFL is doing everything they can not to, the game is slowly moving closer and closer to the college game where the quarterback doesn't have to run around and feel like a madman. It doesn't be Michael Vick. But he does have to be able to move and avoid pressure in the pocket and be able to, from time to time, avoid a sack or pick up a short yardage 3rd down to keep drives alive. I'm just saying. So let's go to social media. Shelly said, I told you. I Told you. And he said, watch his mini camp tapes. Yeah, I mean, like I said again, guys, I mean, I'm going back to what I think is deja vu all over again. What do you mean by that? So I'm going to tell you what I mean. We're going to take our last break for the night. We'll come back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked as we wrap up and talk about, well, what you want to talk about. Free agency in the NFL. We'll be back with more good sports talk in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Thank you, and thank you.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net. Brian, I just want to say congratulations, man. Thanks for coming down from Tennessee to get your new truck from us.
Thank you.
God bless and have a safe trip. Just want to say congratulations on getting your new F-350 from us here at Allen Vigil Ford. Thank you for your business.
Thank you.
God bless.
All right. Thank you.
So some of our happy customers here, again, you can, if you need a car for yourself, for your family, for your business, hey, check me out. We're more than happy to help you. We got some great vehicles here. We have new Fords, new Lincolns. We got used cars of every type, no matter what you like, Toyota, Nissan, BMW, Mercedes, if you like the luxury feel. I think we have a Range Rover and a Porsche on the ground. So if you're looking for a new car, you just hit me up. Here's how you do it. You can shoot me an email, jsimmons@realtalksports.net, or you can text me 678-410-9833. And like I said, I'll put together for you. Ford's got some specials right now. They have financing on some vehicles as low as zero. That's right. Some of the small Ford and midsize SUVs have 0% financing. It's not just for 36 months. You got 0% financing in some cases as long as 60 or 72 months. So again, if you need a vehicle, hit me up, send me an email, jsimmons@realtalksports.net, or text me, 678-410-9833. I'll hook you up, man. Like you said, Ford and Lincoln make some great products. And as I mentioned, we get a whole complement of used vehicles as well. The other thing I want to tell you is if you are in need or you need help, if you've been in an accident, a car accident, slip and fall, something happened to you where you need a lawyer, please check out my good friend, Denise Holmes. She is I'm gonna call her, to me, she's a legendary attorney, has been practicing for over 20 years here in Atlanta. She will take care of you. She has won millions of dollars for her clients. So again, Denise Holmes, attorney at law right here in Atlanta. She's been around for a long time. Check her out. Go to her website. It's really easy, attorneydeniseholmes.com. You said she is a personal injury attorney, very successful one, has over 20 years of experience, and she has won her clients millions of dollars. It's not like these guys, advertising one call, that's all. You will actually be able to set up an appointment with her. She will do a free consultation. So again, go to her website, attorneydeniseholmes.com, or give her a call, 770-449-5711, and set up your free consultation with Miss Denise Holmes. And like I said, again, she will take very, very good care of you. Well, guys, if we want to talk NFL football, we like to go to an expert. So this gentleman is going to come up on with us now. He is that. He is a two-time Super Bowl champion. That's why he won not once, but twice with Tom Brady and the Patriots. He's a National Black College Alumni Hall of Famer, and he's the very first Carolina Panthers defensive draft selection. He comes from HBCU, Fort Valley State, where he was inducted a few years ago into the Sports Hall of Fame. I'm talking about number 38. Mr. Tyrone Poole is back in the building. Tyrone, what's going on, sir?
Hey, Jonathan, how you doing? Hope everybody doing well.
Sir, we are doing fantastic. Good to see you as always, man. So it's been buzzing. NFL, you've been there, done that. Free agency on and popping. What do you think about some of the moves that have been made? First of all, the biggest thing, Saquon Barkley, one of the top running back prospects, goes down the road to Philly, arch rival. How'd that pan out?
Again, it's all about like Jerry Maguire says in the movie, "Show me the money." So,
Show me the money.
as people going wherever they're gonna pay the money, right? But Saquon Barkley, going to Philadelphia, hopefully that'll help, their run game out and help Jalen Hurts, and also, you got Derrick Henry going to Baltimore, so they're adding a little bit more of a running attack, which could take some more pressure off of Lamar Jackson and Baltimore. They already got a pretty good defense. They've been known for defense, and I'm pretty sure they're going to keep that going. So there's a lot of good, things happening for teams. Jerry Jeudy, leaving the Broncos and going to Cleveland, and of course everybody Russell Wilson, which Russell, he stuck it to the Broncos, right? He signed that cap-friendly deal for the Steelers, like the veteran minimum, but the Broncos, they still got to pay him $37 million. So he really sticking it to the Broncos. And the Texans acquired Joe Mixon from the Bengals. So, they're moving up. Michael Pittman agreed to a 3-year deal with the Indianapolis Colts wide receiver, and Mac Jones. Mac Jones actually used to be the New England Patriots starting quarterback off and on. He was acquired by the Jacksonville Jaguars, so his time had run short in Indianapolis. And the Tennessee Titans, they let go of Derrick Henry and picked up Tony Pollard from the Dallas Cowboys. There's a lot of great things happening in the NFL. The list goes on, and it's not over. But those are the names that, when people think about it, those are the names that really stand out in my mind as you started off with. And even Marcus Mariota, all those people, Mariota, he signed with the Washington Commanders, right? So he signed a 1-year deal with them. So all the Atlanta Falcons fans, when you do Atlanta wrong, boy, they stay on you for years. And DeAndre Swift, he was helping out in Philadelphia, and he signed with the Bears. And again, the list goes on. But the team that I really look at to see what they're doing in free agency, because I think they are like 1 or 2 players away from being a great team, and that's the Detroit Lions. And really, I don't see them doing too much. They did get an offensive guard, but I really think Detroit, to go over the hump and get into that championship, I think they need a wide receiver. They need that number 1 wide receiver on offense. And I don't see them doing anything, offensively to become a threat. And Josh Jacobs, my last one, Josh Jacob, he's no longer a Raider. He's a Packer now. So, there's a lot of things that have been moving. And, of course, the Falcons signed Kirk Cousins. So, everybody's at an uproar with that. But at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Speaking of Kirk Cousins, the Falcons have been very active since then, all I think to shore him up. There's the trio right there. Cousins, obviously huge contract, 4 years, $180 million, 1 guaranteed. Charlie Woerner, a stout blocking tight end, coming over from the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers. And a guy I never heard of, Daniel Mooney, at the wide receiver spot. Even Justin Fields, when he was asked about him coming to Atlanta, he said, hey, great team, but they probably need a little bit more help at wide receiver. So the Falcons have brought in Daniel Mooney for a lot of money. 3-year, $36 million contract. I believe $25 million is guaranteed. And you can see, Tyrone, clearly they're doing all they can to build a team that is geared and set around their new quarterback, Kirk Cousins. What do you think about the Falcons? How would you grade their signing so far? I know we got time to go left in free agency, but what do you think?
You can't really give a grade on people right now. You can't go off of what they did last year. You have to wait until the year goes by. But I will say this, as far as into the division, the Carolina Panthers, they actually got 2 good offensive linemen. That's what they felt like their need was to shore up their offensive line. So they went out and got 2 offensive linemen, and they got a wide receiver. So that's letting you know what they're thinking as far as bettering themselves. So, but no, you can't give a report or a grade out on, people signing, because what they did last year with another team don't mean nothing with the team that they're playing with now. I've seen a lot of guys who were phenomenal on one team, and then they sign, they go get the money, and then you're like, that person's not playing like they played before. So again, you can't give a grade, and any type of grade that anybody would give, they're basically giving that grade off of past history with a different team, a different system, and you can't do that. So the best thing is to wait until the season is completed. Wait until the 2024 season is completed. Then you go back and look at the impact that person had. Then you probably can say whether it was a good pickup or not.
So we're going to see. I mean, like I say, I've not heard of this young man they're bringing in, Mr. Mooney. They said that he had a good first year. And secondly, with the Bears, after they changed offensive coordinator and brought in a new quarterback, ironically Justin Fields, his production went down quite a bit. The other thing I find out, which is very, very interesting, I guess this is true with all of life. We everybody talks a lot about the numbers and stats, but when I watch free agency and I watch a lot of moves being made, it really is about relationship. Because when you look at some of these moves that are happening, they all are interconnected. Just bringing this guy from the Bears, I never heard of him, but of course, the Bears' former GM is now part of the Falcons' personnel team. So he has some familiarity, this young man, bringing him in. He's the guy that originally drafted him. So even though his numbers didn't look good on paper, it's because he knew, or at least he thought he knew what he can get with this young man. So they brought him in. Let's go to social media. Jason says, a great perspective on Kirk Cousins, the Falcons free agency. I'm excited to watch Kirk Cousins attack defenses in the red zone. Now we just need some defense. H.C. Hardy says, it's as simple as this. They're all past history, all Americans. The truth will come when you put them shoulder pads back on. That's what Tyrone's saying. We don't know what we got until they actually play the game. We don't know.
Yeah,
but on paper, they look good.
One thing I heard that I hope that Kirk Cousins does, I hope that he comes in and he tutors Ritter. I think if he can come in and do that, and I think when he finally finishes, I think he did a 3-year deal. And the last year, I think of it is probably not, it's an option year, what have you. Again, Ritter, just like any quarterback, I think, or any player, whatever the sport is or business, the more you can get around people who have done it, been there, I think that helps you out. So we all know that Ritter can throw the ball as far as throwing the ball, right? He has the arm strength. If he didn't have the arm strength, then Falcons would not have drafted him, I don't believe. I don't think he would be playing in the NFL. I don't think he would have, any NFL team would have put him in consideration of playing in the NFL. You just don't play in the NFL. I know a lot of people like to have the person's not doing this and they're not doing that. But here's the real root of the situation. If you're playing in the NFL, you got some type of talent. Now, whether you're showing it on the field, that's a different story. And sometimes it's just a simple thing as being around the right players that can bring that out of you, or being in the right organization that can bring it out of you, right? We can always look at Brett Favre. A lot of Falcons, they probably kick themselves and, wow, we didn't know Brett Favre had that in him. Again, being in the right environment, the right organization allows you to focus and let your talent play. So, hopefully Kirk Cousins will take Ritter up under his wing and come in here and help the Falcons win, and then turn the keys over to Ritter, and Ritter can be like a Love up in Green Bay. Let a veteran run it, and then let the young guy learn, sit back, and then boom, they come in, and the ship keeps rolling.
It's funny you mention that. To me, that's what I said the other day when I did a hot take last night. To me, this seems like deja vu all over again. If you go back and think, this is really kind of what Arthur Smith originally had envisioned when he came in, when they drafted Kyle Pitts versus drafting the Penei Sewell, the now phenomenal offensive guard playing for Detroit. The thinking was, we're going to mirror what the Falcons did successfully before. Give Matt Ryan some big targets, give him a good running game, kind of improve the line a little bit, and then allow him to do exactly what you said. We'll bring our quarterback into the future in under the tutelage of a guy that's been a good pro. He'll teach him, give him the ropes. There's no pressure on the young man to come and play right away. And then in 2 or 3 years, as Matt phases out, he'll go in. So this is what it seems like they're doing. They're going right back to the original game plan, bringing a Kirk Cousins, bringing a guy that's a good citizen, good corporate guy, good family man, a guy that's going to, because you have to sell seats for the corporate guys as well. But more importantly, a guy that knows I'm at the end of my career and I think be willing to teach a guy like Ritter or whoever they might bring in. They might bring in a guy like J.J. McCarthy or something like that to learn under him. So, yeah, I think the Falcons are just going back to the original game plan before Mr. Blank wigged out and said, I got to have Deshaun Watson. That's what it seems like to me, just the way they're setting up this team.
Yeah, well, as they say, that's why we play the games. Isn't that what Herm Edwards said? We win, we play the game to win. So at the end of the day, it's all about making decisions. It's all about putting players in position to win. And that's the key that I think a lot of people miss out on is you have to bring players on your team. And when you bring players on your team, you have to put them in position to maximize their abilities, right? And I think a lot of times teams bring guys on because they're trying to really sell the fans. And then when the player gets to the team, they don't really use the player like they should. So you kind of get a double whammy. But if you're going to win games, you got to put everybody in position to do what they do best. And if you bring in a receiver and he's the best receiver, throw him the ball 200 times. And let's hope that he catches 119 of them. So at the end of the day, you can't sit and say, oh, you know what? We threw John 5 passes. Well, let's throw Tim 5 passes. Let's throw Eric 5 passes. No. You let your dogs go out there and hunt. And hey, I'm telling you, Jerry Rice, when we were playing him, we used to cover Jerry. We used to triple cover Jerry. And Jerry still catch the ball.
Sure, right. That's how it works, man. I mean, you want to go to your studs. And I think that's the other reason they brought in Kirk Cousins. He recognizes talent. He knows who to get the ball to, and he knows how to get the ball to them in a way they can get something done. The ball's going to be thrown out on timing. He's going to occasionally, like any good quarterback, throw guys open. And again, I go back to one caveat. As long as he's at least 90% of what he was before the injury, then the Falcons are going to have an outstanding offensive team. Speaking of offense, ACRD said, hey, man, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, very scary combination. Yeah, you're putting one of the best running backs in the league over the last few years on a team that had led the league in rushing. Yeah.
That's going to be
Ravens going to be nothing nice, sir.
It's going to be a beast. I would like to see Derrick Henry also put on that black and gold, or black and the Steelers.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm like he would have been like his running style. Even though Baltimore, they love to run the ball as well, but man, Derrick Henry. You talking about feed me, how they, the running backs, they like feed me. Pittsburgh would have fed him that football. And then they were taking they got a veteran quarterback in Russell. So I think it would have taken Russell back to when he was a very great quarterback. He's still a pretty good quarterback. But when he had beast mode, Marshawn Lynch behind him, he became a well house-known quarterback. And man, just think if he had that same type of running back, Derrick Henry, and yeah, Pittsburgh. So either way, Derrick Henry went to a team, and I just hope that they utilize him, like I said, and now hopefully Lamar Jackson doesn't have to run the ball, and he can sit back and throw the ball.
Yeah, because he's actually led the Ravens, which is unbelievable that your quarterback leads you in rushing. I think every year he's been on the team, which is insane. I mean, especially a team that plays the way the Ravens play, that kind of hard-nosed football. Yeah, so I know it's going to be a big relief for them to have a guy they can give to. It's going to make Lamar even more dangerous, both from passing and running, because now you can't just look at him. Derrick Henry, the same thing. If he's giving you even 90% of Derrick Henry, Baltimore is going to be – they're going to be a tough team to handle, bro. But I still think they need to get him some more help on the wide receiver end, though.
Well, I got one question for Russell, right, going to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a small market, man, and it gets cold up in Pittsburgh. How's he ever gonna handle that? Denver was cool. Now, see, Denver, you got that mile high. It doesn't get brutally cold in Denver. Plus, Denver is a nice city. I played there, and it's probably gotten better. But Pittsburgh is a small market. You ask anybody, Pittsburgh's a small market, right? So, it's gonna be entertaining. to see.
Pittsburgh, man, they got their fan base is off the chain, bro. I mean, they love you. They love you. So if Russ can be, yes, sir. If he can show you a little bit of that Russ magic from back in the day, dude, he will be the king of Pittsburgh. They will love him like no tomorrow. As far as Sierra's concerned,
yeah, I'm talking about Sierra. How's she gonna handle that?
Dude, she'll be all right, dude. That's what jets are for. She'll be okay. It's a quick flight from Pittsburgh to anywhere else, bro. She can zoop down Atlanta, zoop to New York, go up to Chi-Town. She'll be all right.
Hey, but then when that mess with Russell's psyche, hey, she's like, hey, I can't come this weekend. Now he can't focus on the game. I don't know, man.
To me, like I said, I'm not gonna belabor this point because we're about to wrap up. But I still, I understand and don't understand. I understand that the Falcons basically their mode of operandi is this: we want a certain type of player, we want a certain type of vibe around our team. And you hit it on the head. You say, hey, man, there may be some potential problems with Sierra coming back to Atlanta because really, if you think about it from just the numbers, like you said, everything is different when you go to a different team. You don't know. But if you look by just the numbers, Russell Wilson really made the most sense. His numbers are better. He has more playoff experience. He has a better record in postseason, and he would have been a lot cheaper. So financially, and from just like I said on paper, looking at the stats, Russell Wilson really would have been the perfect fit for Atlanta because they could have then went out and got themselves a stud edge rusher or something like that. But all that being said, probably the looming potential controversy of Sierra and her old flame, as you said last week, probably made them say, can't come here. All right, last thing, H.C. Hardy, you get the last word. He said Cousins is 78-70 and 2 in his career, and most of the games he put up stats, but played with bad defenses. I told everybody, I said last night, Kirk Cousins is like Matt Ryan 2.0. This is something that the Falcons are comfortable with, Arthur Blank. And I tell you, I mean, let's take football off the field for a second. And the same thing I'm going to say with Russell Wilson. Both of these guys are, I think, brothers in Christ. They both are guys that really are men of faith. Last year, Kirk Cousins won the Barstool Award. And I was listening to him. I said to myself, as soon as the guy retired, he's going to be a preacher. Because, bro, they had to almost pull him off stage. And his ability to quote scriptures, maybe get into a sermon. I said, look out, Kirk. So at the end of the day, I think that the Falcons' familiarity and the comfort coaches that the head coach, he coached the guy. He knew. He was with him in Washington. He knows the kind of system they want to play. Again, I'm just saying, last thing, we'll wrap this up. If Kirk Cousins is 90% at least of what he was, the Falcons are going to be a team that are going to be a very tough out. They should win the NFC South, and I think they could even go deep enough to win 1 or 2 games in the playoffs. And you know how it is, brother. If you do that, you could be in the championship game.
That's true.
Just saying. So things that lay out. All right, guys, we got to get up on out of here. You know how we do, though. Before we wrap it up, we want to make sure that you guys all know more about our guest and co-host. So, Mr. Tyrone Poole, the floor is yours.
Hey, Jonathan, thank you. Hope everybody's doing well. Tyrone Poole, 38, all social media. And let's shout out to my little man here. Back when he was in USATL. That's Tyson. So I said, which way I move. Yeah, that's him actually. You see, yeah. That's my little man when he was probably about 8 years old. 8 years old running track. So yeah. I don't think I don't like he got his hand. He got his hand like that. He got to relax. But yeah, Tyrone Poole, 38 on social media.
Here we go. Tyrone, thank you for joining us. And as we can see him running, that's what we call DNA, baby. DNA.
All right, Jonathan.
You guys know I am a actual real life minister, so we want to encourage you. First of all, you can follow me, but really follow the show on social media at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. You can find us anywhere there. We're on all social media platforms, including Twitch, including X, including Facebook, including YouTube. We're there. Follow us right there. But more importantly, don't follow me. Follow my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Maria Yahashua HaMashiach. Follow him because he is the road for you and salvation and for a life well lived. If you repent of your sin and believe that he died for your sin and rose from the dead, 2 great things happen to you. Number 1, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number 2, you become an adopted child of God with all the rights therein. That means you now can go to God like a heavenly parent. Ask him for anything that you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll give it to you. But then most of all, when you leave this place, you go to the happy place called heaven, where there's none of the following: no pain, no pandemic, there's no bad people, you never get old, you never die, you never get sick. And guess what? The place is illuminated with the glory of God, so it never gets dark. How cool is that? And most of all, you get a chance to actually see God, see Jesus Christ, Maria Hashua HaMashiach, and all the people of love right up close and personal. And you avoid that nasty place called hell, where all of the following that I just mentioned that are in heaven won't be in hell. Okay, so it's with bad people. You think about it, you'll be with the devil, all his demons, all the most horrific people ever on earth, and you never get away from them. That's right. You're cut off from God, from Jesus Christ, and all the people of love forever and a day. I don't know about you, but I like option number one instead of option number two. All right, guys, until next time we get back together again, we simply say God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, whichever may apply. So long. Take care and God bless. See you.